Well, I'm bundled up because it's about 30 degrees right now. Can't really see my breath in the camera. But anyway, so I have gone a little over halfway down the cigar, and I will say it's a very good cigar. I'm starting to feel the nicotine buzz right now, so I'm probably going to be calling this quits pretty soon. But it's not the best cigar I've ever had. I actually I've had a couple other of the Willy cigars. I bought like 6 of them when Guillermo had his booth set up at the Tennessee Cigar and Brew Fest. And I tried a couple others, and honestly, I liked some of their milder cigars a little bit better. I've had a couple of their Maduros were a little on the harsh side, which I did not care for. But their mild cigars were very, very good. This one is better than some of the ones that of theirs that I tried. But it's not really the best, but it is a very good cigar. Willy Cigar, I believe, is based out of Arizona. You can find them online, I think, and they have like a picture catalog of pretty much all the cigars that they roll, and all of their stuff is hand rolled. You can order the barber pole like this one. You can order many different kinds, and I do recommend them. Guillermo, the founder, was born in Cuba. He grew up working with his grandfather in the cigar industry in Cuba, and I think back in the 80s he moved to the States and started making his own cigars. So I very much recommend anything that they have in their catalog. Let me see. So that's what I was going to say about the cigar. I've also been I've been going through kind of an interesting journey lately. Anybody who's watched enough of my videos knows that that I identify as a Christian. Something that I've never really mentioned. It's been many years since I've actually gone to church. I've gone a couple times to, if I'm visiting a friend, I'd go to, if I was visiting on a Sunday, I'd go to church with them. Because, just because I don't go to church doesn't mean I have no use for it. I worked retail for a long time. I worked Sundays for a long time and just didn't have the time or the energy to get up in the morning to go to church. Now that I'm a teacher and I have every weekend off, on Sundays I do have the time again to go to church, and because my sleep schedule has become something mostly normal again, even on the weekends I'm usually up by about 7. So I felt I was at a point where I was ready to go to church again. So I started investigating, because I grew up in the Church of Christ, and I fondly recall my time growing up in the church, But the Church of Christ is really no longer for me. I just don't really agree with all of the teachings that are specific to that denomination. So I was investigating other denominations, and because most of my friends are Baptist, my father grew up in a Southern Baptist church. I was thinking I'd probably end up going that route. But one of my professors at the University of Tennessee at Martin is a deacon in the Episcopal Church. And I've heard him, or I haven't heard him talk about it. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and so I've seen many of his posts regarding the Episcopal Church, and I really, really appreciated the idea that faith and reason can cooperate in an individual's life and philosophy. I appreciate the tradition that goes in. I had begun to think that maybe I was just going to be one of those people who, tradition and ritual just weren't really going to be in my life anymore. But especially after reading C.S. Lewis, I've read a great deal of C.S. Lewis, who was Anglican, and the Episcopal Church is part of the Anglican Communion. I unwittingly already exposed myself to a great deal of the Anglican philosophies. So, I think the cigar is about ready to call it quits. But anyway, so I started really investigating the Episcopal Church. And here in Dyersburg, where I live, there is St. Mary's downtown. So this past Sunday, I went to visit. And it was it's a smaller congregation, which I appreciate. Large congregations kind of flummox me a little bit. I grew up in a small congregation, so that's kind of what I'm used to. But I walked in, and there were people wearing the servers at the altar, the deacon. They were all wearing vestments. So I'm like, okay, it's definitely high church, as opposed to low church, which is more along which. I'm still new to this. High church being closer to the Anglo-Roman or the Anglo-Catholic traditions, and low church being more along the lines of evangelical Protestant, which is, I think, what I grew up with. Like I said, I'm not really sure about the classifications on some of these things, but I was very impressed with the service. A lot of the liturgy made sense to me. The idea of that there is a very traditional worship service in order to give you something to build on, or maybe to plant yourself in is a better way to say it. And the idea that the tradition and the customs or the rituals kind of free you in your worship, and that's something that tradition has always seemed very restrictive to me. But the idea that tradition can actually be freeing is a new concept, and it's one that I came across many times reading C.S. Lewis. So it was interesting to see that put into practice. And so I've decided I'm going to give the Episcopal Church a shot and see how it speaks to me, how how it works into my life. And so, any of my subscribers, if you are Episcopalians and you would like to send me a message, I would appreciate any insight, because like I said, it's a very, very different style of service than what I'm accustomed to. So anything that would help me understand the church would be much appreciated. But I don't know. That's those are kind of my thoughts for today. It's kind of cold out here. My fingers are not quite. They're not numb. I worked 8 years in a freezer, so 30 degrees to me is. It's light jacket weather for me, but normally I was moving around in the freezers, so I had a way of, keeps your blood flowing, keeps you warm. Sitting down and enjoying a cigar, pleasant as that is, does not really keep the blood flowing that much. So I'm going to go back inside, warm up a little bit, probably brew myself another cup of tea. I've been drinking some Constant Comment, which is my favorite. But I'm out now. So I'll probably go inside, warm up another cup of tea, and I don't know, maybe ruminate, meditate on the things I've been learning. I've been watching a lot of videos about the Episcopal Church, and I think it's something I'm really looking forward to this. When I was a younger man, church had become almost a chore to me, so I'm very excited to be able to look forward to it. But anyway, hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I am, because I don't have to work this Thanksgiving. That's a remarkable feeling. But anyway, so I guess that's all. I didn't expect to go on for 13 minutes, but yeah. You all, like I said, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Peace be with you all, and happy trails.